What's up guys, Ghost here with a little Starcraft 2 tip for you guys today. We're going to be talking about screen or camera hotkeys and the various uses that they can have. Now if you don't know what this is, it's essentially where you can hotkey rather than a unit or a building, like I have my barracks hotkeyed, you can actually hotkey a certain area of the map. So if I scroll over this area here and I hit shift F1 and I hotkey that to F1 and then I'm somewhere else, I hit F1 and boom, I go straight there. And what I usually use these situational hotkeys for is my bases. So I'll go over my first base here and I'll have that on F1. I'll have my natural on F2, my third on F3, and I don't actually have a fourth here. I've just loaded up a replay, but if I did, I would also hotkey my fourth base here to F4, so you can easily scroll through the bases. And I'll show you some of the things that you can actually use this for. So say you want to rally some workers, you just drop your command center down here, or your hatchery, or your nexus, or whatever. Hit F1, grab some workers, F2, and you can just tell them to go straight there and mine. Some other applications this has is, say you're building something. So I get this SCV and I wanted to build a hatchery, I wanted to build a barracks over here. I tell them to build the barracks, and instead of having to scroll back to your minerals and shift click him back there, you can just build barracks, F1, shift click back. And you know, you're building supply depots, F1, shift click back. And even if you have to scroll a little distance, it's a really good principle to work upon doing. You know, just make sure that you're using these situational hotkeys. Not only does it go for transferring workers over and rallying workers back to your mineral patches, but if you're playing a Zerg, it has a really big role because of your lava injects. So instead of having to hotkey your queens, you can just use a situational hotkey. So you'll hit F1, grab your queen, lava inject, F2, grab your queen, lava inject, F3, lava inject, F4, lava inject. And this is more prevalent than ever because Zergs usually have more bases than Terrans or Protoss. Now, another thing you can use situational hotkeys for is also, say you're rolling your troops down here. So in this game, I was attacking this guy, and as you can see, all my buildings are rallied down here. And sometimes, instead of having to hit the #1 hotkey to actually rally to your units, you can create a situational hotkey for here as well. So if I set that to something, say I'm, busy doing something, hit F1, and maybe I've taken these units, and they're attacking up here, right? So I'm attacking this guy. Meanwhile, a lot of units have been stacking up here because this is my rally point. I don't want my rally point to be too far into the enemy base. So this is my rally point, so I can be attacking down here. And all of a sudden, oh, I need my units. Go to my rally point and bring them in like that. Now, I'm going to show you how I actually have these hotkeys set up. So which hotkeys I use. So we go to hotkeys, global, I believe it's on the camera. Yeah, there we go. So create location 1 through 8. You can actually have as many of 8. I only use 4 because most of the time I only have 4 active bases, mining bases. So I set them to shift F1, shift F2, shift F3, and shift F4 respectively to actually create the hotkey. And then here, jump to location. These are the 4 that you'll need to actually go to the location. That's just F1 through F4. So there you go guys, hopefully that helps you out. I didn't start using these hotkeys until I've been playing StarCraft 2 for quite a long time, and I was, used to building stuff like this, scrolling and shift clicking back to my mineral patch. And once you get used to doing that, it's really hard actually to remember to use your situational hotkeys. So if you're a new player, it's not just a thing that pros do. I would definitely recommend starting to use these situational hotkeys as soon as you possibly can. When you start up the game, you just started mining, you're waiting for your first depot or your pylon or whatever, use that time, set up your situational hotkey here. You're probably going to be expanding in most games at least once, so set up your second situational hotkey, set up your third here. If you're watching your pro gamers, you'll see that they do that at the start of every match, and then they'll be sort of flicking through these hotkeys, even though they don't have bases there, just to get their sort of brains used to it for later in the game. So if you haven't started doing that, guys, start doing it sooner than later. You will really thank me later on, I promise you that. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.